And welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good morning to each and every single one of you. We're going to talk Arsenal this morning and what a mess the club is in right now. I've seen meltdowns all over social media. I completely and utterly back you in your condemning of your football club. Some new deals given, unfortunate injury, which is going to see Martinelli miss the remainder of this season and maybe even a chunk of next season as well. We're still waiting for some clarity on that. But it's been a bad week for Arsenal Football Club. Big defeat to Man City, an atrocious performance and defeat to Brighton, losing Leno. That's not as bad as we first thought. Martinelli now out for the remainder of the season. And for me, inexplicably, David Luiz gets given a new deal at the club. Mari, who's out injured till November, has been given a permanent contract at the club without playing a game. And Cedric Suarez has also joined the club permanently, I believe, on a 4-year deal without playing a game. Does this tell Arsenal fans all you need to know? You're not going to be signing any top quality, at least defenders, come the summer. An area that Arsenal need to address. Saliba's coming in. He's tipped to be something brilliant. But are you really going to pin your hopes? Are Arsenal really going to pin their hopes on a kid at the back? Come on. This is, for me, if I'm an Arsenal fan right now, I am absolutely raging. Absolutely raging. Someone says nothing wrong with Cedric as a backup. Cedric's better than Bellerin, bruv. But he ain't levels. He ain't what Arsenal need. Chelsea have Reece James. Man City, Kyle Walker. Liverpool, Trent. United, AWB. Arsenal wants to be getting back on level ground with these teams. Signing Cedric isn't going to do that. Giving David Luiz an absolute calamity waiting to happen. It isn't going to do that. Mari, we don't know how good that boy's going to be. You know, fair's fair. Just doesn't feel to me. It feels to me again, shoestring budgets. You know, it's like trying to live a champagne lifestyle, but with lemonade money. It's a crazy one for me. You can call the show, by the way. The link is inside the description below. If you're a Gooner, you want to come and have your say, please do. Really interested to know what Gooners are thinking and feeling this morning. Truly want to know. That's no salt. That's no kind of disrespect intended here. I'm on your side. But for me, this is madness. Sky Sports reported here. It says David Luiz has signed a new 1-year contract. That's one. I know it's only 1 year. That's surely 1 year too much. But 1 year contract, while Mari and Cedric Suarez have made their loan moves permanent from Flamingo and Southampton, respectively. Danny Ceballos has also extended his loan to the end of the season, which makes absolute sense. The Brazilian will remain at the Emirates season for at least another year, with Mari formally completing his move on a long-term deal. The transfer window reopens, and Suarez will also make his loan switch from Southampton permanent. If I'm an Arsenal fan, as I say, if I'm an Arsenal fan right now, I am underwhelmed beyond belief. Nice comment there for one of our members. It's crazy news. Also, I want to talk Martinelli. Now, the Martinelli news is very unfortunate. We know how talented young Martinelli is. Here's the comments from, it said Martinelli sustained a knock during training, a minor cartilage injury, left his knee on Sunday. The Brazilian is set to undergo more tests in the forthcoming days. In a press conference on Tuesday, Arteta said, we had some really bad news in training yesterday. The last action, Martinelli got hit by another player and got damage to his knee. The doctors are assessing the extent of the injury, but it's not looking good at all. When asked how long the forward would be unavailable for, he said, we don't know, but it's looking like months. And I suppose that's what Arsenal fans have got to be hopeful for here, is that, you know, it's only the last little bit of this season and you get him back for the beginning of next, because Martinelli, and let me say some positives here for Arsenal. Martinelli along with Saka, they're two genuine youngsters who have got real ability that could help elevate Arsenal moving forward. So losing him now is terrible. And you know, we've got a comment here from Charlie that's watching on Twitter. And again, I'm not even throwing any salt. I mean it. Arsenal are in trouble. This season is going to fizzle out for Arsenal with nothing to show from it. They won't make the top 4. I know they're still in the FA Cup, but I can't see them winning it. I truly can't. I can't see them winning the FA Cup with the teams that are remaining in it. There's too much quality there. So, yeah, it's just it's peak times. It's peak times, and I understand why the meltdowns happen. And it's you're an Arsenal fan, and you see David Luiz, who is a mistake waiting to happen in every game, sign a new deal. Yes, Saliba's coming. You're going to have Saliba, Saka, Martinelli next year. These kids talented. But how do you think they're going to feel playing with David Luiz, playing with Cedric, playing with Xhaka? Is it not just going to be largely underwhelming for them? I'm asking you this question. Just go into some of your comments here. This is a true point. United kept Valencia, Ashley Young, and Mata too long. This is true. This is true. And United are starting to come to the end of their poor run in terms of bad football decisions being made. But I'm looking at Arsenal and I'm seeing the same thing happen. The Arsenal situation is interesting, really. We spoke to Nicky from West Ham Fan TV last night. And that fan cam is now out on the channel. You can go check that out afterwards. And everything he said that's wrong with West Ham just echoed of what United had going wrong with them. Of course, different levels to the games because of the size of the clubs and the money that's being spent, etc. But a poorly run club is always going to fail. And every group of fans has their own expectations of what good success looks like and what failure looks like. For me right now, Arsenal and these new deals and everything else surrounding them, it tells me one thing. And I mean this without trying to sound salty again. I keep repeating that because it isn't about attacking Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal, in my view, I'm just looking at the league table now in front of me. Arsenal this season will finish no higher than 10th. No higher than 10th. And then how do they improve on that? Because Liverpool are going to be as strong next year. City will be stronger because I don't think the ban's going to happen now. Leicester are where they are. Chelsea will be stronger. We know that. United will be stronger. Wolves will be stronger. Tottenham. Okay, maybe not. I'm not convinced on Jose. Arsenal are behind Crystal Palace right now after 30 games. And they're giving David Luiz a new deal. We've got Ramel coming onto the show now to come and have his say. If you want to phone up, please do. We're going to jump into some of these fan opinions. Morning, my friend. How are you?
Morning, Terry. I'm good, thank you. How are yourselves?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Are you an Arsenal fan?
No, I'm a Liverpool fan.
Okay. On this news, we know the Martinelli news being out injured is terrible. That goes without saying. These new deals they've given out, permanent deals, contract extensions, is this the sign that Arsenal have got years of turmoil ahead of them for you, or do you actually think it's good business?
For me, it's a sign of weakness because, obviously we've had the greats in the league like Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, and they've had long periods of success. When I've heard obviously comments say that they've kept older players, you guys were still winning things. Times have changed, in my opinion, since then. Obviously, having a long stretch of success doesn't happen as much in the league. And for me, obviously, Arsenal have gone in their rut, but I've never actually seen Arsenal try and get back to the top. So, on the other side, you can say, Man United have been terrible in the past or whatnot. But for me, whatever manager's been there, even though money's been spent weirdly at certain points, they've always tried to get back to the top. And for me, this is just Arsenal doing the same thing yet again, over and over.
Mate, I agree with you. I like what you said at the beginning. It's a sign of weakness. It truly is. I almost feel like Arsenal's owners, I almost feel like they've gone, okay, well, we now know that top 4, we used to celebrate top 4 because we got that Champions League money. That's gone. How do we mitigate that? Well, we earn on average 40 to 50 million pound a year being in the Champions League. We reduce our costs over a 2 or 3 year period to not have to worry about a 30, 40 million. We're just happy to float. And we're happy to make our money from the club. We're happy to use the club as an asset for our ventures around the world. We're happy to keep taking, thousands of pounds a year off of fans, millions of pounds from the global fan base. We've got hundreds of millions of fans globally. We're cool. And I just think the owners are going to do this until the day they've had enough and they decide to sell. Arsenal, and as you say with Man United, we ain't got great owners. and we haven't. But you are right. They have tried to get themselves back to the top, although they've done it wrong. And now we seem to, and I'm touching wood when I say this, we seem to have found some light at the end of the tunnel. We're buying players that are actually making our team better.
Yeah.
If we sit in fifth and we're only, only 4 points, only 6 points in front of Arsenal. Yeah, we are only 6 points in front of Arsenal. But if you look back to September, August time to where we are now, I think by this time next year, we'll be extending that to 15, 20 points in front of Arsenal. But we've actually got a future ahead of us. And Arsenal fans know they haven't. And for me, the only thing Arsenal fans can now do is they've got to step up. They've got to boycott, whether it's cancel season tickets, they've got to do something to make these owners change their ways, because like Bellerin isn't good enough. And you're signing Cedric as his backup. I mean, that just makes your right-hand side of your defense weak. We don't know how good Saliba's going to be. Mari, okay, yeah, he done tested, but at the same time, like I just don't trust it. I just look at the deal and think every year or so, Arsenal sign these players from obscurity or these average, and we think, oh, maybe they'll do something. And even the ones that have come in and done well, like Torreira, don't want to be there anymore. So the whole thing is an absolute mess, mate. It really is. How many years do you think Arsenal are away from challenging?
See, when Arsene Wenger left, I would have said probably about 5. Now, I can see them, if they're not careful, doing a Newcastle.
Wow.
Because Arsenal have the means. And don't get me wrong, I'm 18. I never saw the Invincibles like how some people did. But I love my football. I love stats and etc. I've gone back and watched some games and whatnot. But Arsenal, for me, have the means to get back to the top, because for one, they have like the second richest owner in the league. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
they have
they've got a billionaire.
Yeah, they have the ability to get there, and it's like, I don't know if it's ignorance, I don't know if it's stupidity, and because I don't know if it's one or the other, I say it's both. Because like I said before, United have tried, and now, as you see, like in my mind, Sancho is only going to United. You get what I mean? That's a sign of intent. Like obviously we've seen links before. Sancho linked to Liverpool, and at first I was like, yeah, we're going to get him. But when you see certain things come out, he just knows, and you feel that's just going to happen. And yeah, we felt the same with Werner. But my point, obviously, we're bringing up all of this, is that you never see that with Arsenal. You never see a good player linked with them saying, I only want to go to Arsenal. You get what I mean? It's always a Liverpool, a United, a Chelsea, a Man City that will go in there first, if you get what I mean.
No, mate, I agree with you. And there's a comment here from Twisted Bubba who says, Terry, a trainee manager with below average players is a recipe for disaster. And when you say it like that, I don't even think even Ty, Ty won't admit this from AFTV, but I think in his heart of hearts he'll know it's kind of true. And that's why I think you get a lot of anger from Arsenal fans. It's why Pepe scores a great goal and there's almost over celebrations, because they know it's peak. I think they can see the doom in front of them. And there's this element of, I don't know what to do, because, 15, 20 years ago, we were one of the best teams in Europe. And we've slowly slipped away from that. And now they've basically got to climb uphill through treacle, and it's going to be difficult. But listen, buddy, I appreciate you coming on, having your say, mate. We'll chat to you again another time. Take care, buddy.
Blessings.
Welcome to the show. What do you want to say, buddy? Hello, good morning. You there?
Thanks, mate. I just wanted to say that, with David Luiz, he played well at Chelsea. I understand why Arsenal signed him, and maybe Mikel wants to get the best out of him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's not really his fault. He just wants a sense of leadership in the team, because with Pierre, he might go. He really wants someone to back his team. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just find the whole thing really, really difficult at the moment with Arsenal to try and look for a positive. I think it's really difficult for them right now. And as you said, they've got Pierre-Emerick. I look at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as a great example. He is a top-class, world-class striker. But most of the time I see him play now, he's on the left or he's on the right. And I think to myself, hang on a minute. He's okay out there, but that isn't where he's strong. So you're gonna probably have. How long has he been there now? Is it 2 years or 1 year? I think it might have been there 2 years. He's been there 2 years.
Yeah.
And have Arsenal got the best out of him? No, because half the time he's playing out of his natural position anyway. So you always look at it from a point of view of if you're going to bring in a top class player, yeah. And this is my issue that I had with Man United 5 years ago. We bring in Paul Pogba, but we don't. And we thought at the time we were buying good enough quality to go around him, but hindsight's lucrative. We didn't build a team that was conducive for him to win. You know, if you took Lionel Messi at his best and you put him into an average dysfunctional team and club, he would have scored a lot of goals. He would have done brilliant things. He wouldn't have had the decorated career that he's got because the package wouldn't have been there. You know, and you look at Steven Gerrard at Liverpool. Look, he won a Champions League. He won a few domestic cups. If you would have put Gerrard in a Liverpool team as good as it is now, Gerrard's winning multiple league trophies, maybe multiple Champions Leagues. And, you know, large parts of Steven Gerrard's career, you know, he was playing for a very mediocre team that weren't even relevant in the elite level football discussion. And it's okay maybe for Gerrard because he's Liverpool born and bred. But when you're Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, when you're Torreira, you know, when you look at Martinelli, these individuals, how long are they going to stay loyal to a club who has almost zero ambition? I just can't see it, mate. So yeah, really, really good points you make there. We can jump onto a few more calls. Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you. Next up, we've got Tim. Tim, welcome to the show, mate. Let everybody know who you support.
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Chelsea fan. I mean, you're looking at Arsenal now. Once upon a time, you know, Arsenal and Chelsea, their games were brilliant. You pretty much have always been better than them since the Abramovich money, to be fair.
Yeah.
But is this just, are they in free fall, or do you actually think this is smart business? What's your opinions, Tim?
Are you talking about Chelsea?
No, Arsenal. Like, how are Arsenal
right, yeah.
or do you think this is good business they've done today?
Oh, it's so tough because you want to laugh at Arsenal, but at a certain stage it does get a bit sad. You know, when you fall that much. I'd even say up until probably a couple of seasons ago, they weren't that far off it. But it's a bit like when you chip away at a wall, you know, slowly, you can't really notice it day by day, but you know, over half a decade, you begin to realize how big that hole begins to get, and that's what Arsenal are. And I don't really want to laugh at them anymore because it's not really fun. I mean, and it's one of the sad moments in terms of David Luiz, and you know, some contract extensions. You know, with the Chelsea and United, it's pretty obvious where what the players are required. You need world-class players. When you've got Arsenal, I don't even know if they have the pulling power to bring in the world-class players anymore. And you begin to look at maybe trying to get sort of mediocre to decent players before even looking at trying to bring in a world-class player. Because I don't think they have the finances to do that. I think once you can, you know, get back to getting some decent, good players, that's where they're linked with Tyrone Mings, get some decent players that are at least better than what they have. And then potentially try to get consistent Champions League football where they can begin to finance some world-class players.
Yeah, and I think that's it. The pulling power isn't there. Just quickly, by the way, what's his name here? Callum FC Chelsea. You're not getting me to read that out. I'm not stupid, bro. I'm not reading that name out. You might get Goldbridge, you might get Robbie, but you ain't getting me with that stuff, bro. Thank you. It's not happening. Not in a month of Sundays. No, I agree with you. I think Arsenal are losing their potency. I think right now, a lot of teams would pick Leicester, would pick Wolves, would pick Tottenham over them. I even think come this summer, teams might pick Newcastle over them. Because, you know, just because you've got billionaire owners doesn't mean your club is going to be run well. But at the end of the day, like, for years, I always thought, Chelsea, if they keep sacking these managers, no one's going to want to go there. No manager's going to want to go there. Yeah, it hasn't ever been seen to be true. Because whether you like Chelsea's methodology or not, their aim is to win Premier League titles. That is their goal. Arsenal, for me, their aim is just to earn as much money out of their fans as possible. They don't care about being successful. And that doesn't sit right with me at all. I think that every team has different means. When you've got the means that Arsenal have, your aim should be to be the best team in the league or the best team in Europe. But I just think and again, maybe fans would be more accepting of that if they said, right, we're not going to charge you $3,000 a year for a season ticket. We're not going to charge you £90 for a shirt. You know,
the audacity of those prices versus what they get is
exactly. And I think that's where the embarrassment comes in. I've had this conversation with so many gooners around. I know you, but this is where football fans are slaves to their clubs in a sense, because it doesn't really matter what they do to us. Everybody keeps spending the money. So you kind of sit there and I think to myself, well, you as fans have got the power, and we have seen that already. Look how much money it was predicted to fall out of football if football didn't return this season, and if fans can't come back for a year. That was where all these estimates of clubs losing 100, 200, 300 million pounds each came from. It was the fact of, if you look at Barcelona, a great example there. I didn't realize this. 50 million pound a year their club museum generates as a standalone business, because no one can visit that at the moment. It's losing millions of pounds a month in revenue. Man United have things like that. Arsenal have things like that. I would love to know how much money the stadium tours generate at Arsenal. You're probably looking at multiple millions of pounds a year for that. That's all gone. Fans and people that show interest in the club are so important. But it shows that you have the power. If you all refuse to spend, we know how crippling it's going to be for teams. And say, look, we'll come back and spend, but we want these assurances. We want you to go out and recruit real football minds to make the football decisions. We want you to delegate that power to them. The whole Josh Kroenke thing. Josh Kroenke has finessed them big time, in the sense of he came in. They got rid of the Wengers. They brought in that Sven fella who was connected to Dortmund. They brought in this new scouting network, and they signed, when they signed Torreira and they were doing that business. I was sitting there thinking, you know what? Arsenal might be on a madness here. A couple of years building up this squad with kind of not unknown players, but like not breaking the bank, but building something brilliant. I was worried. But within like 6 months, that fell apart. And why did that fall apart? Because I guarantee you, if you speak to the people that came in and have now since gone, they went, well, we're trying to build a structure that was going to make Arsenal a good football club. But the owners are raging narcissists who want everything done their way. We told them they were wrong, so they made us leave. It will be as simple as that. And Man United are trying their best now. And I always said I don't trust Man United enough, because we sit in this situation with it's all right, mate, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
I'm just interested. I was just listening there. That's all right, mate. No problem. I feel like with Man United, I'm happy we're moving in a new direction. But do I trust the Glazers to remain on this trajectory? No. It's going to take 2 or 3 years of behaving in the right way for me to think you've completely and utterly changed your mind. But for me, Arsenal are absolutely dead. Just quickly, a quick word from you. How happy are you with Chelsea's business so far?
I'm freaking ecstatic. Obviously, I don't even know if I think Havertz for me is overkill. I think we need a left back and a right centre back. I mean, said that so many times already, but I'm really, really happy, especially with the trajectory Arsenal's going in versus where Chelsea's going. I'm really, really happy for that.
Yeah, and you could probably throw Tottenham into that mix as well.
It's brilliant. It's actually brilliant. It's actually peak. It's so good right now, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it is. It's crazy. Like, I look at it myself and just think, it's mad. And it's interesting runs. Like Crystal Palace are on a better run of form than the likes of Arsenal. They've won 4 games on the bloody bounce, Crystal Palace. No one's talking about that. Not even me. That's. I mean, fair enough. They won 3 of them 1-0 each.
Their squad it's so weird because their squad seems to get worse every year and older, but they somehow still stay relevant in the Premier League. It's so strange. They haven't really added anything for a while.
Because of how poor he did with Liverpool, a lot of people sleep on Roy Hodgson's managerial ability. A lot of people sleep on his managerial ability, and Roy Hodgson isn't an elite level manager that, again, with England did okay. Like, he isn't going to make England world champions. He isn't going to go into Man United and make us Premier League champions. But if you stick Roy Hodgson, if Roy Hodgson took over West Ham, they'd stay up. If Roy Hodgson took over at Norwich, he'd get them to be a mid-table team within 2 years. Like, he's a really good manager. At this level, he really is. But Tim, thank you very much for coming on, mate. We'll chat to you again soon, bro. Thank you. Final call. We're going to jump to KJ. What's going on, bro?
No, I'm good, thanks.
I mean, this Arsenal news is, and I don't even want to laugh at them anymore because I feel like I don't know. It feels like I'm laughing.
Yeah, it's that scene from Simpsons where like they're beating up that kid and stop, he's already dead. Like, that's what it is, man.
Yeah, like, I feel like they're a protected species now, and I feel like it's like going out and hunting a puffin. Do you know what I mean? They're endangered species now, Arsenal. So hunting them is almost cruel. They're 10th. Martinelli's out. They're just given 2 very, I think, average players in Mari and Cedric 4-year deals. I swear they've still got who's that right back they bought from Newcastle? I swear he's still there. Debuchy.
Oh no, they sold him. He's at St. Etienne now.
Cedric's a Debuchy. Mari's a Debuchy. Do you get what I mean? You know, and they've got Saliba coming in, they've got Saka, they've got Martinelli, that. David Luiz, a new 1-year deal. Like, you know how bad David Luiz is? One of your academy players will do just as good, but you ain't got hemorrhage money on him. It's a mad decision.
It just shows that I have no idea what they're doing. It shows they have no idea what they're doing. Because if they did, you bring in Mick Arteta, cool. But if you're now giving him David Luiz for another year, you're now giving him a player that he worked with in Man City years ago, and he had to go to Brazil to get game time, and a player that can't even get into the Southampton team. Yes, he was a very good right back when he first came to the Prem, but now we can't get in the Southampton team, and these are the 3 players you're giving this new manager. It's disgraceful. It really is. Like, I'm actually frustrated watching this because I'm like, yo, I enjoy watching the Arsenal fail. I love it. It's like a drug to me. But at the same time, I've got friends, I've got family who support Arsenal, and I want them to do well, because when they was at their pump, it was the best rivalry in the Premier League, Arsenal United. So part of me wants that back, because right now it's like 2 homeless people scrapping over a cardboard box. Like what's the point of doing it, man? Like, but it's just very frustrating to see Arsenal have no plan. They're saying be excited for what? Like I said, like on the show before, that Ryan Fraser would improve their left-hand side. That shouldn't be a thing, but it is.
Yeah, Arsenal, it's such a huge fall from grace. It's unbelievable. And this is the thing where it's expectations. They want to win the league, so they get really angry that they're not in that kind of mix. But at the same time, like they celebrate mediocrity. And they're signing, like today, Arsenal fans should be looking at it. Why am I renewing my season ticket? Because I always felt about it this way, right? If you're a parent and you've got a child that's hooked on drugs, you're not a great parent for feeding that habit. You're not a cruel parent for locking them in a room and watching them go cold turkey. In that cold turkey period, they could hit the lowest of the low. Their body could be breaking down. They could look like they're dying, but they're actually not. Their body is actually getting better, but it's fighting out and pushing out the toxins. And that's what Arsenal fans need to do. They need to lock their football club in a room and let it go cold turkey. They need to take every penny they can away from the football club. Don't give any money to them. Boycott all sponsors, even to a point where you're not even talking about them. You need to make them so irrelevant that they hemorrhage money. You make a bit of not a ransom list, but you make a little bit of a conditions list that will come back when we get, at the very least, these 10 things. And it could be genuine board of directors, and you sign power over to them to make footballing decisions. You know, there almost needs to be that element of power shift. Do you get what I mean? Like there needs to be, we want to see this is all in place before we come back. Do it. And Arsenal Football Club will change for you inside 6 months, because we know how much they need your money. And if they're money hungry and they're leeches, then take the money away from them. Arsenal fans have the power. The problem is most Arsenal fans are too weak to do anything about it. And by the way, I said that about United fans. I stopped spending money on the football club for a good number of years. Most Man United fans, I see every week, I see them moaning on socials about the Glazers. But they're like, oh, I'm buying that new T-shirt that's come out. Idiots. Like, you're feeding the Glazers. Don't moan about them if you're feeding them, you know? And right now, Arsenal need to lock their football club in a cupboard and let it go cold turkey. Otherwise, you're never, ever going to change. And you're 10th right now. If you continue in this trajectory, in 3 or 4 years' time, you're sitting 12th, 13th, 14th. And, you know, I know they don't want to believe it because they've got a big old stadium. But once upon a time, the likes of Aston Villa, the likes of Norwich, the likes of Nottingham Forest, the likes of Leeds, Ipswich, these teams were massive. Yeah, these teams were massive. But the other ones I'm mentioning were like, people don't realize, Nottingham Forest were back-to-back Champions League winners. You know, they were a serious threat. They were a team that everybody around the world knew 20, 30 years ago. And Arsenal, that won't ever happen to us. Well, you haven't won a league title for nearly 20 years. And now you're starting to, and now because of the growth, and it's not even also about Arsenal being bad, it's Newcastle now coming on board. New TV money makes every team wealthier. You know, if Sheffield United cement themselves at this level, they're in front of you now. Wolves are going to stay above you for the time being. Newcastle are coming through. Leicester are a better football club than you now. So Arsenal could improve, but they still might not even make the top 4. And so there's got to be drastic change. What the advantage Arsenal have to nearly every other club is they've got a global fan base of hundreds of millions. That is untapped resource financially that should propel them to next levels. They charge more money to go to games than any other club in the world, but yet they spend less. Now they spend money, but then it's done bad. But the money they do spend is then spent poorly because it's non-football brains making football decisions. And but if you're a fan, you're going to sit idly by. You're going to buy the new kit this summer, buy the new hat, buy the new water bottle, you know, buy everything new, and then cry about it. You're the problem. Like, you're legitimately the problem. You're actually a worse problem than the club. You're the parent that's going out. You know, your daughter's sitting there, you know, she's clucking for that little rock, and you're like, no, I'm such a good parent. I'm going to go and buy her those drugs. No, you're the worst parent in the world. You're feeding the habit. And I'm saying this to any fan that does this. If you hate the way your football club is run, but you pump money into that football club, you are worse than the bad owners. You are feeding the problem. You are feeding the parasites that are eating your football club. Step up or shut up. Simple as that for me.
Yeah, and it's just like, I look at Arteta and the situation he's in, and I understand the position he's in with the squad that he's got. But he also could be doing a thing where it's like, you know what, I ain't got a good squad. I ain't gonna make top 4. So let me show them what the future could be like. So they could be playing, well, Martinelli, not right now because he's injured, but they could be playing Martinelli or Saka on the left and Pepe on the right and Aubameyang down the middle. They could be playing like some youngsters in the back line just to give them experience. But I don't know why he's choosing to make really weird decisions, like playing Saka in midfield, playing him on the right. You're playing, you're just playing like, who is it now? You got Ceballos, you got Guendouzi, you got all these players coming in, and like, what's the point? What is the point? Like, they may as well just go for it. They may as well just, you know what? We ain't gonna do like what we want to do this season. Let's give the fans something to hope for, and then that's how you get the fans on board, and that's how you get the support. Right now, Mikel Arteta is doing some defensive thing, trying to, I don't know what he's trying to do, and this whole protege thing. What does it mean? It don't mean nothing right now.
Pep did what he did when he came through with Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, Eto'o. Like, it's not comparable. It isn't comparable. As Twisted Bubba said, you've got a novice manager with bang average group of players as an entirety with a few sprinklings. And listen, Martinelli could be the guy. He could be as good as every Arsenal fan says he is. Do you think he's staying? You think in another 2 years' time, when he's elevated to that next level, he's going to go, oh, I want to sign another 5 years of my career with Arsenal, sitting in 10th? No, he's going to go to Chelsea. He's going to go to City. He's going to go to Liverpool. He's going to go, and it's going to break Arsenal fans' hearts. You know, Saka, if Saka keeps getting better, he's not going to re-sign at Arsenal. Why would he? You know, it's a matter. Look, Harry Kane has been regularly in the top 4. He's got the Champions League finals. He's looking to leave his boyhood club because they're not winning trophies. You think Saka is? You think Martinelli? You think if Saliba comes in and is this world-class centre-back, but the rest of your club is crumbling, you think he's staying? I know he's signing a deal, but you think he's going to stay? No. He's going to be on his agent saying, look, I am what I am. Yeah, his agent's going to be knocking on his door saying, look, Man United, Barca, PSG, they all want you, bro. They all want you. They're willing to pay you 300 grand a week and you're going to win trophies. Do you want to stay at Arsenal? Bye, Gunners. I'm off. You know, let me give a little high five to Gunnosaurus, and I'm done, bruv. Like, and that's what's peak about it. It will happen, and it will happen to any club. Where, generally speaking, you'll get maybe like Saka might be different because he come up through the academy. He might do a bit of a Gerrard and want to stay type thing. But as a general rule, players want to be successful in their careers, and if you're of a top talent and there's big clubs knocking on your door, they're going to have their heads turned at the end of the day because they're going nowhere there. But listen, KJ, appreciate you coming on, mate. We'll chat to you a little bit later on today, yeah?
Yeah.
Take care. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you very, very much. As always, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.